You love your friends, you truly do. But be honest, why is the best feeling in the world the moment they cancel plans with you? There is a specific, paradoxical feeling that many of us know, but few openly admit. It happens in that split second when your phone buzzes with a notification. It is a message from a friend or perhaps a group chat canceling the plans you had for the evening. Logic dictates you should feel disappointed. You should feel a sense of loss. But instead, before you can even process the social etiquette, your body reacts with a sudden, overwhelming wave of relief. It is not that you hate your friends, it is not that you are antisocial, but in that moment of cancellation, you feel something rare in the modern world. You feel free. We live in a culture that has pathologized silence. The modern narrative suggests that a full calendar is the only evidence of a successful life. We are told that more is always better. More connection, more events, more noise. Consequently, we often view our social energy as an infinite resource, something that should be always on, like a utility bill or a Wi-Fi connection. But this is a fundamental error in understanding human biology. For many, particularly those who lean towards introversion or high sensitivity, social energy is not a utility, it is a battery. And it is a battery that drains rapidly when subjected to the high-performance demands of social interaction. Let's examine the physiology of this moment. It is not just a mental thought, it is a somatic event. When the text message arrives saying, "Can we take a rain check?" observe what happens to your physical form. There is a literal decompression. Your shoulders, which you may not have realized were tense, drop by an inch. The tight knot in your stomach dissolves, your jaw unclamps. Neurobiologically, your brain halts the production of cortisol, the stress hormone that was preparing you to navigate traffic, small talk, and loud environments, and releases a subtle wash of dopamine. This reaction is physical evidence that, regardless of how much you love your friends, the anticipation of the event was weighing on you as a stressor. The relief is your body thanking you for the unexpected gift of conservation. Ideally, we often think we want to go out. The concept of seeing friends is pleasant, so why is the relief so potent? The answer lies in the transition cost. Psychologically, the hardest part of any social event is often not the event itself, but the transition required to get there. It is the mental gymnastics of shifting from a state of domestic relaxation to a state of public presentation. It requires a massive amount of activation energy to shower, dress, commute, and calibrate your mood to match the room. When a plan is canceled, the toll booth is removed. You save the cognitive resources that would have been burned up just trying to get out the door. You realize that perhaps you didn't want to avoid your friends, you just desperately wanted to avoid the exhausting process of becoming a public person for the evening. Suddenly, the Friday night that belonged to the world now belongs to you again. This is where the magic of unstructured time begins. When you have plans, your time is mortgaged. It belongs to the commute, to the venue, to the conversation. But when those plans vanish, you experience a restoration of your locus of control. You regain sovereignty over your immediate existence. This is not about isolation, it is about autonomy. You close the door, you change into comfortable clothes, and the silence of your home transforms from a waiting room into a sanctuary. In this space, there is no observer. You do not need to be interesting, intelligent, or polite. You are free from the gaze of the other. And in that privacy, you reconnect with the version of yourself that exists beneath the social roles. This phenomenon serves as a crucial diagnostic tool. If you consistently feel a rush of euphoria when people cancel on you, it is a data point you cannot ignore. It suggests your social calibration system is misaligned. We often say yes to invitations out of guilt, obligation, or a fear of being forgotten. We overbook our future selves, assuming we will have the energy then that we lack now. But when the time comes, we are in a deficit. The relief of cancellation is your psyche's way of correcting a mistake you made days ago when you said yes. It forces us to ask, why do I commit to things that my body clearly does not want to do? There is a profound distinction that must be made here, one that the theologian and philosopher Paul Tillich articulated perfectly. He said, "Language has created the word loneliness to express the pain of being alone. and it has created the word solitude to express the glory of being alone. The relief we are discussing is the embrace of solitude. Loneliness is a deficiency. It is a craving for something you lack. Solitude is an abundance. It is the fullness of your own presence. When plans are canceled, you are not being cast into loneliness. You are being invited into solitude. It is an opportunity to cultivate the ability to be self-soothing. In a world that constantly demands we look outward for entertainment and validation, being comfortable in your own empty room is a superpower. It proves that you are good company for yourself. Despite the relief, this feeling often brings an internal conflict, the guilt. You might think, if I am relieved they didn't come, does that mean I'm a bad friend? This binary thinking is destructive. Human emotions are complex and capable of duality. It is entirely possible to love someone deeply and, at the same time, love your peace and quiet just as much. The relief is not a metric of your affection for them. It is a metric of your own depletion. We need to normalize the idea that wanting to be alone is not an insult to others. It is a biological necessity for emotional regulation. Consider the alternative. You force yourself to go. You sit in a loud bar or a crowded room. You smile, you nod. But behind your eyes, you are calculating how soon you can leave. You are physically present, but emotionally absent. This is the worst of both worlds. The canceled plan saves you from this half-hearted existence. It allows you to choose the certainty of peace over the possibility of fun. There's also a shared honesty in the cancellation. Often, when the other person sends that text, they are hoping you will be understanding. But frequently, they are just as exhausted as you are. The mutual cancellation becomes a tacit agreement, a silent nod between two people acknowledging that life is hard, work is draining, and sometimes the most loving thing two tired friends can do for each other is to leave each other alone. It strips away the pretense and prioritizes reality over politeness. Does this mean we should never go out? No, it means we should aim for intentionality. The goal is to reach a point where you say yes only when you truly mean it. When you stop acting out of obligation, your social interactions change. You move from quantity to quality. When a person who values their solitude actually shows up, they are truly there. They are not checking their watch. They are not wishing they were home. They are present because they have protected their energy enough to spend it wisely. The canceled plan is not the end of friendship. It is the boundary that makes true friendship sustainable. Ultimately, the joy of missing out is an act of quiet rebellion. In a noisy world that demands your constant participation, choosing to step back is a radical act of self-preservation. It requires a silent confidence to admit that you are enough for yourself. It requires courage to prioritize your mental stability over social expectations. So the next time the phone buzzes and the plans fall through, do not feel guilty. Do not feel sad. Embrace the relief. Take a deep breath, put the phone away, and settle into the glorious, unstructured freedom of your own company. You haven't lost a night out, you have regained yourself.